contributing to the chaotic mosaic. The end of all things, a land built upon the remnants of dead worlds, ripped from the tapestry of the first gate. There are those clerics that embrace oblivion, using their powers to unravel the very fabric of existence, to cast all into the Shroud. First Gate, Legend of the Shroud, is a new TTRPG supplement. Brought to you by Biscuit Tin RPG.
And welcome to Biscuit Tin RPG, everybody. A special Thursday edition. We know that tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and people will probably be out with their significant others, or partners, or friends, or whatever, just kind of celebrating a commercialized day of love. So we elected to be on a day that wasn't that, in the hopes that people may join us sooner. But without further ado, we'll kind of jump right back into things. During the last session, the gang reunited with Ashland, who was freshly back from the world of the living, to discuss the potential deals when they were suddenly presented with a fantastic fourth option by a new face entering the field, as we were joined by the wonderful Rick Hines, portraying Ma Zhen and offering them an alternative choice. So if you haven't caught that one, you should probably go back and then you can kind of see where we're at now. But right now, the party's split in various places. We're going to go ahead and start off with Rosina. Rosina, you were in the Temple of Invars, and while you were there, um, there was there was one thing that stuck out to you. For the most part, you have weapons, everything you need really to get this going. Um, Based on what you're doing, you come across a book in there, inside this armory, as it were. Um, what you have in your hands is something that it's very difficult to make out, but there's an immense power from it. Um, you have picked up what is called the Book of Change. Um, what it does, it will require you to do an insight check in order to actually read it, which can be done during a short rest or whatever time. Once you're able to discern what it is, it will unlock some abilities for you. So it's the one thing in there that you really found that would really work for you that you didn't already have something more powerful than. It seems a lot of this stuff in here is from like bygone adventurers, non-magical weapons. There's some stuff, but nothing that really hits the heat that you're currently carrying.
Yeah.
So with hope, maybe you'll find something better when you go to the Dragon's Horde, which we're still about an hour away from. So.
Great.
With that in mind, is there anything you'd like to do within the next hour, um, before you head towards the Dragon's Horde?
No, nothing in particular. I think at the end of the last session, we sort of talked about Rosina meditating to, get those, stay on the path that she's on.
Okay.
So I think she's just going to meditate in the temple and then go meet up at the dragon pile.
All right. Perfect. All right. So you'll probably be there until about 15 minutes or 20 minutes prior to that. So that's fine. All right. We're going to go ahead and move over to Augustine. When we last left off with you, you had been in kind of a, a, a state of figuring things out. So
Processing.
processing, yes, I can't. My words are not great. I still have COVID brain. Well, I apologize. Um, you have you have about an hour before, obviously, the Dragon's Horde is going to be opened up to you all. Um, it's during these moments of sitting there, you hear a knock on the door.
Yes.
Benny kind of peeks in. She's like, um, there's a you have a caller at the door.
Who
He's
did they say who they are? Is it
uh
one of the people I've been with or
he says that he knows you from before. Um he said that if you were hesitant to mention uh Jimbles and Jambles.
I'm sorry, this is me laughing because I forgot we gave those dogs ridiculous names.
We
Oh,
gave the dogs those names?
it was a group effort.
In my group it was mostly my idiocy, but sure.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of like gestures for Mittens to follow her, and she's not gonna like go around Benny, but she'll follow Benny back down there.
Of course. Benny just kind of walks you towards the front door and just like waves you on. He's like, "Don't forget to be back to help with the dishes."
Yes, Benny.
Okie dokie, and she just walks off. As you walk out the front door, or you actually peer through the front door, there's a familiar face from years ago. You haven't seen him in probably going on 5, maybe 6 years since the last time you saw him while you were out in the middle of the fields, hanging out at the junction. But you see the familiar face of Richard. Um, he has long since abandoned the coat of arms that was associated with the Legionnaires, and is much more happy in what appears to be just kind of plain traveling clothes. They're not torn up or disheveled in any way. They're just nice traveler's clothes where he's kind of taken to just existing here now. Um,
It's his retirement.
yeah,
Augustine will open the door and actually will like go over, arms open for a hug.
yes.
I wasn't sure if you'd moved on.
Oh, no, not at all. I there's a lot of stuff still to do, and seeing as how the things recently have taken the turn that they have, I figured I would check. I heard that you had finally made it into town. Um, I've been very busy. Um, obviously, animals. What he looks at Mittens. He's like, animals aren't common here, and just kind of like stares at you like incredulously, like, how did you manage to get an animal here? And then he goes, anyway, um, I felt it was time that we reconnect. Um, I wanted to share some information with you that probably should have been shared with you all a long time ago, even before the incidents. Uh-oh. No, it is working. Okay. The wrong one was doing its thing. Even before the incidents that happened in the Shadelands and before your passing. And I didn't know if you had time.
Uh, I've always got time for an old friend.
Fantastic. I know a little bar down the way. There's a interesting bartender who's always washing the same glass.
Washing the
Uh,
same glass, and when you're talking about something interesting, suddenly the bartender is much closer and washing the glass while just staring you dead on, unblinking. Does that sound familiar?
yeah, that's Gary.
Yeah, I know the bar. Let's go get a drink and catch up a bit because I feel like I've missed things.
Of
What have you
course.
been busy with?
Um, really just enjoying retirement. I was for a very short time when I first got here. As you're walking, he's just kind of talking. He's like, I was for a short time. I did try to get into that Valau thing. I've been trying for a while, but obviously I'm not the artistic type, and then it just up and disappears. What the fuck was that about? Um,
Um, Sorry about that.
I mean, it is what it is. From what I understand, staying there long term only did people emotional damage. So probably, probably, probably dodged a bullet there. Um, but no, I've been staying with an old friend of mine, from strangely enough the other side, for quite a while. So I figured now's as good a time as any. But no, just enjoying retirement. I still have a hope that maybe I'll go back, so I have my place in line, but I'm still a ways off.
Uh, I do hope you're aware that Lacroix or one of his people may try to make your retirement short and make you unretire.
Yeah, that's part of why I'm here. I've already turned them down. So, you eventually find your way, you get there. He pulls up a seat. He motions to the bartender to get he goes, "Is this still the fancy wine sort of thing for you, or okay, yeah." He goes, he just so the guy brings over what appears to be just a simple stein of ale and a very nice flute of wine. It kind of is. It's a strangely a bubbly wine. He goes, it's off-putting at first, but I think you'll like it. It's really rich and smooth. And so he goes, so I figured better late than never to tell you what had really been going on before you all had gotten there. And believe me if you want. If you don't, that's fine. It's very hard to look past how things ended up and where they are now. Um,
I mean, maybe with other people. Were any other member of the Legionnaires trying to tell me things that I might have trouble believing? Probably wouldn't believe them, but you have no reason to lie to me.
do not. So where to begin? Um, you remember during the Shadelands incident, how everything started getting ratcheted up. Um, it was the Legionnaires versus the the accursed guard and all that stuff, and it all very much seemed like it was at the behest of Dorian or Lacroix because they had a personal beef with each other. Um, Doing some digging before my passing on, um, I learned a few things. Um, those two were trying to maintain the status quo. And what was actually happening was the accursed guard started ramping up things because they were trying to fix them so that the king wouldn't have to worry about it. Um, and unfortunately, because they were the ones doing it, Lacroix assumed that there was no way that the king wouldn't know what's going on inside of his own dominion. We learned um, that on both sides, it wasn't so much that we were getting orders as we were preemptively reacting in order to try to quell what was happening. So the incident in the forest was not initiated by Dorian at all. It was actually initiated by some warlocks of one of the more intense archfey demanding sacrifices. And rather than make King go through and figure that out, they took it upon themselves. The escalation all started because they thought they were doing what was best, and we reacted. In all honesty, until the very end, neither of those two was actually really directly involved. I mean, yeah, Lacroix saw what was going on and was reacting, but behind the scenes, they were still trying to figure out what was actually going on. And it wasn't until later, when things started getting worse, that negotiations broke down and the war actually began. So, suffice it to say, it was our fault. We reacted too hastily. We blamed the king himself because everyone had heard rumors that he was losing his mind and wasn't able to control his people, or perhaps he was informing them or telling them or ordering them to do all of these heinous things. It turns out that wasn't the case. Something else was going on, and we're not sure, but we're fairly certain someone else was pulling the strings.
DM, feel free to tell me to retcon if this seems like too big of a jump for Augustine to make, but
Okay.
she's quiet for a second and kind of thinking about how the the moves there were so complex that it would be hard to see that there were any strings pulling them. And then she thinks back to how her brother ended up becoming a patron, why he left home, and the circle of it all, and how things had to play out in a very certain way for that to happen. And she kind of like looks at Richard. You familiar with Majin?
Tangentially, the Cursed Guard had much closer ties with Majin than we did. Fate obviously had even closer ties. Those two were friends.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time one of Fate's friends took her by surprise, but just the essence of what you told me, how it played out. If someone really was pulling the strings to that extent, I had a puppeteer my entire life, as did my brother, and neither of us knew it. We were playing our roles as someone else dictated. And Majin was connected to it. So they could be connected to this. To what end, I don't know. To my knowledge, Majin is someone who just enjoys chaos. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Perhaps. Like I said, I don't know much about that guy other than the fact that, goodness gracious, why isn't this working? There we go. I mean, they were around a lot there from the very beginning. I mean, I'm a human. I haven't lived nearly as long as either Dorian or Lacroix, let alone Fate. And from my understanding, your kind, tieflings, you lived for quite a while as well. Um,
She's not a tiefling.
I thought you were a tiefling. What are you? You're
No.
the Glau, right?
She's a summer Glau.
Okay, yeah. So that's my fault. We'll retcon that. It's still an elf of sorts. But yes, you're are you a summer or winter? I forget because it was the
Summer.
opposite for summer. Okay.
Summer. Elliot's
Yeah,
winter. That's why
Elliot's
she has
winter.
the snowflake.
Yes. He goes as a summer Glau. It explains why you got pulled in so quickly. Did you ever notice that Glau in general were not around there towards the time that you came to the city, or you actually started partaking in the battles?
Actually, yes. I can only think of one that I encountered, and that's my brother.
Yeah. And he was far beyond the touch of mortals by that point. You were left untouched because you were a known quantity within the city. The ritual sacrifice, we didn't find out until later, and we weren't sure exactly if it was pertinent at the time, but the ritual that was done in the forest, every body we eventually found was Glau. It was a genocide.
I think Augustine actually like spills a little bit of her wine, just kind of processing that. I'm sorry. How was this not talked about more?
By the time that we figured it out, everything was kind of in full swing. The pitch of battle fever and bloodlust was already in the air. We weren't sure exactly how to address it, but it was one of the things that really amped things up there towards the end. That message had been delivered to Lacroix directly once the investigation had finished, and that is where things started to turn. That's when that's around the time that negotiations broke down. Negotiations. Negotiations had broken down. He had become withdrawn, and said that the king could not be trusted because the king swore up and down that he knew nothing about it. And Lacroix it didn't sit right with him that the king wouldn't know.
How extensive? I mean, I wasn't the last one, right?
No. There was still
No.
some around, and you may have run across them in your time. For whatever reason, something protected you, something was around you that made it not noticeable, but the ones that were still around were in hiding. Some fled the Shadelands altogether. They fled their ancestral home to avoid being caught up in the sacrifices, and others that remained went into hiding. It's when we found all this out after your sacrifice that a lot of both sides actually had broken off and began working with your former companion Isilra, and the attacks and and that sort of thing, trying to stymie both sides to put an end to the warfare. But by that point, it was already too late.
Do you know anything about what the circumstances were around Fate leaving?
Ah, thank you. I one of the people that came to pull me back actually tried to pull me to the other side. Um, wanted me to deliver something to you. Um, and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a letter in an envelope that the seal has been broken. And he goes, I didn't read this, but my understanding is that you held up your end of a bargain somewhere, and this was the reward. So here. And he sets it on the table and he scoots it towards you. And the despite the fact that the seal is broken, when you put your hand on it, or when you do eventually put your hand on it and you close them together, it is the seal. It is Fate's seal.
Probably rude to read this right here. I know it's probably rude to read this right here,
Richard
but
goes, it's fine. If you need a minute, I'll go talk to Gary over here. And Gary's just like looking at you both, just looking at like barely paying attention to the glass. It's like he's just stopped and he's just staring. He's like, and then like the minute his name's called, he's like, oh, yeah, Richard, come on. I got a seat over here. But I was gonna say television, but that kobold's crazy. I don't even know what that means. Um, and Richard's like, I'll give you time. You do what you have to do. That's most of the information I have. But I'll try to answer any other questions you have after you either handle this or whatever. I'll be around. And he gets up, politely nods to you, and walks over to the bar. And Gary's like, come on. And he's like, no, Gary, knock it off.
yeah, she's gonna open it and read it.
So the inside of the letter, it's addressed to Dorian. And at least that's what it says. It just says Dorian. It seems like yesterday since we came to this land in order to try to make it better for our people. You always the stoic warrior, me always the level-headed one, and Lacroix had always been lost in his thoughts and eventually his love. That's why it pains me so much to watch where you have gone these last few years. I know the truth about what happened and why this all started. And while I would love to stay here in order to try to put things right, My calling is elsewhere. It turns out that my creation was not an accident. Who I am and what I am now was for a greater purpose. I am supposed to balance not just the Shadelands, but the universe as a whole. And I cannot do that here while I'm with you and your squabbling people. And then there's a cutoff. It's you can tell because the tone changes, as if this letter was written in multiple different moments as she was trying to find her thoughts. It continues on with, things could have been so much better had he not fallen. You two could have eventually worked together and put an end to this yourselves by simply marshaling your forces and pulling them back. But that's not what happened. My beloved and her friends were brought into a conflict that should never have involved them. And because of that, the scales were tipped. And because of that, I am still here. I should have died. I should not be here right now. The fact that I am means something in this universe is intrinsically broken. But I will do the best with what I have. I will find out the purpose of my creation, and I will find out who really truly started all of this. And my vengeance will be just. It ends there, and then at the bottom there's a PS. It says, if by chance she ever returns, please let her know that I will be there for her. If I can find where she is, I'll be there for her. Don't take your success and your victory for granted. Do better. Signed, Fate.
I broke the universe, guys. A+. I love being a lesbian. I assume there's a second letter included in there?
There is a second letter. It's not nearly as long as the first one. It just simply says, "Dearest Augustine, I appreciate what you did. I found out about your sacrifice. I found out about the deal that you made. The urge to use the phrase running up that hill right now is so strong." But it says, "I don't begrudge the choice that you made. I truly appreciate that you gave me the ability to stay. And I know that what you did with the best of intentions. Please know that no matter what happens, I will never harbor any ill will towards the choices you made, as you always did them, thinking of your home first, rather than yourself. Ever since that moment that you forgot to put your mask back on, I knew you were special. Know that I will continue to look for you as best I can, and no matter where you are, I will find you." And then the one thing you notice about the paper, the parchment itself, despite the fact that it's obviously a little bit worn and it's a little bit older, um, there are splotches throughout the letter. Not things that are from like ink or anything along those lines, but you can obviously tell that tears were on this paper. I'm not even going to make you roll for that because your insight is ridiculous.
I mean, I think insight's a little lower.
Oh
Not
my
much, though.
goodness.
Holy shit. I broke the fucking universe. Augustine is going to knock back the rest of whatever wine is there.
Mhm.
Gonna stand up and actually looks a little disoriented, and she kind of turns to leave, stops herself, turns back, looks over to Richard.
He's mid-drink and he just stopped.
I have to go to the realm of death. Will you babysit Mittens for me? He'll be good for you. And kind of like gestures down to the displacer beast, who, remember, does not like men.
Yes. Yeah, he's just like, are you sure? Because she looks pensive.
It's fine, it's fine. Turns and looks at Mittens. Darling, I need you to not eat Richard, because he's going to watch over you and make sure you get a lot of treats and snacks while I go do something.
Richard's like pulls out a piece of paper. I need to get lots of treats and snack. And he's got as he's writing this down, he has like this like faux worried look on his face, but you can tell there's a smirk. And he goes, absolutely. He walks up to Mittens, and he looks down to Mittens. He looks up at you, and he does kind of a faux kind of curtsy with Mittens, holds out his hand, and for the first time in your entire afterlife, Mittens seems completely fine around a man. And he puts his hand down. Mittens doesn't do the normal thing where like there's like that hiss growl thing that displacer beasts are known for doing when they're about to, beat the hell out of you. And just kind of like sniffs his hand, and he reaches up, gives her a scritch behind the ears, and nothing but purrs. So that's a weird one for you.
Richard, you truly do have a knack with animals like I will never understand. I have some processing to do,
Of course.
and I need to go chop off a finger and talk to someone. So I will talk to you later. And is going to turn and leave him with that and just walk out, not even explain it.
Okay. He's like, all right. And he goes, well, Mittens, it's just you and me now. And you hear a, wow.
Suddenly there's a side quest that's a buddy cop drama for the two of them.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So, where are you headed to begin your processing / whatever you're going to do with your finger, I guess?
I mean, Benny's is the one place that she actually has a private room. She will pop back to Benny's,
Okay.
because she's going to do that ritual to reach out to someone.
Okay. That'll take you a little bit of time. So with that having been said, actually, as you walk out the bar, there's just a nondescript halfling that walks up and goes, "Hello, miss. I've got some goods for you."
Okay, from where? Who? Why?
The lady said you were owed things, and he just holds up a bag.
Oh, right. She'll take the bag and open it and look inside. Just
It's
kind of
all
checking
of
that everything's there.
Yeah, it's everything you needed for like your normal spell things, all that stuff. You've gotten your ingredients, as it were.
Perfect.
And he goes, all right, I will see you probably never. And he just walks away.
Strange day. Very strange.
So you begin your walk back to Benny's. Riva, you have just been handed a new magic item. Is there anything that you are going to do inside of anywhere, or are you going to head back out?
As I head out, I don't have anything I want to do immediately. I see Frankie still, right?
Yeah, as you walk out, it's as if maybe for you, I don't know, like 10 minutes have passed. So Frankie's kind of still sitting there in front of the tree, meditating or whatever it is that Frankie does in front of trees. But yes, you still see Frankie there.
I walk up to him and kind of stand behind him for a moment.
Yeah. Frankie, if you're actively meditating or just kind of in your zone, um, what's your passive perception?
18.
Okie dokie. Yeah, it's not like you didn't get really snuck up on, but with it when Riva's within like 5 feet of you, you sense that Riva's there. You don't necessarily know who it is until you open your eyes and turn around, but you know that you're not alone.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Sitting under a tree. What are you doing?
I was fighting a guy for a magic item.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there a reason you're sitting under the tree, or is it just because you want to?
Both, I guess.
Am I gonna get any more of an answer than that?
I mean, do you want one? You don't seem to like me very much.
I'm trying to be nice. Augustine seems to like you.
I feel like Augustine feels like she's kind of saddled with me because of who my aunt is.
I think you
Which,
really
fair.
misinterpreted how she feels. I think she really cares for you.
That's weird. All right. This, to the best of my information from going and seeing the beakers, is the closest thing Nixia has in the city to a temple,
Yes.
and that was not a question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
This is an explanation.
All right, I'm gonna go shut up now.
Thank you. Since it doesn't make much sense for us to go out and find where her actual temple is, I figured since we're going into her domain, it wouldn't hurt to say hi. Maybe not go in there like an asshole. And so here I am.
Are you much of a religious person?
I mean, the healing comes from somewhere, I guess, but considering that where I'm from, it could come from patrons, fiends, any asshole that's got enough power that thinks they're a god, or an actual one. I didn't put too much thought into it. So, yes, but like a vague hand wiggle with it.
That's fair enough. I'm not too much of one myself, I suppose.
I mean, everything dies eventually. We're kind of in a spot for that, so
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'll run with it until it dies, I suppose.
How are you processing the whole "I'm never gonna get to be back alive again" thing?
Honestly, that's kind of great.
You think?
I do. Like, I kind of grew up in warfare. It sucks, and I hate it there. And realistically, more of my people will be coming down here than going the other direction. So, like, I'll see people eventually. This is fine. In fact, this might be the closest thing to a vacation I have that had full stop. So,
Yeah,
like,
but
no complaints.
there's more up there than just the fighting. I mean, I know I'm not in much of a position, but
I was gonna say, you're the last person, living, dead, or otherwise, who should be telling me that there's more to life than fighting.
well, there is. I've spent the last 20 of my last 20 years relaxing with my wife. I've not. I mean, I fought obviously, but it's not the only thing I've thought about. I found more of a purpose than just fighting. And oh, you're young. Don't you want to live a little?
Not really.
Okay, I mean, fair enough, I suppose. I just hope you don't live to, die. You don't regret it eventually.
I mean, from everything that I've heard down here, it takes what, like 200 years of bureaucracy to actually get through our line? That's living enough. Like this is fine. I don't need to tack on what, if I'm lucky, another 60 years of bullshit up top on top of that. 200's fine. This is fine.
I guess I can't change how you feel about that.
I mean, you say that I have a lot to live for, but you, not to be rude about it, you weren't really there for the stuff I was dealing with. It's not great. It doesn't seem to have much hope of improvement. There's no reason to go back up to the slog. The slog is coming down here now. It is raining from the sky.
Right, but I oh, you're just so young. You don't want to live your life? Wouldn't
You
you?
seem very
Don't
stuck
you?
on this. It is very
I'm
sweet,
so confused.
but it's fine.
I've never heard someone who's like chill with dying and just was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be fine. Oh well, I'd rather live my life here where there's nothing but a city full of dead people and
All
tornadoes
cities
and
eventually are cities full of dead people. That is the nature of how life works.
stop being pedantic and avoiding my questions.
I'm not avoiding
You
questions. What is the one thing that everybody who's living has in common? They will end up down here. I don't care to go all the way back up there and go through
everyone
this shit twice.
it's more to living than just dying, Frankie.
You feel very stuck on this, and I'm not entirely sure why. Why are you suddenly invested in my lack of afterlife?
I don't know. It's just
I don't either. It's weird.
yeah, well it's I don't know. It's I feel like you should want more, no? You live how long were you Issa up there?
I don't know, like 10-ish years?
You were
Something like that?
Issa for like what, half your life?
Eh, like a
You weren't
third,
even
maybe?
yourself for most of your life. It's insane, Frankie.
It's war. It's what happens. If I have
I
to
just
find
feel
my
sorry
peace
for
time
you.
in the afterlife,
Yes.
that's fine.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I guess I just have strong opinions on it. I didn't think I did. I don't know.
New floss slash self unlock.
Right, well, you enjoy praying to your tree. I'm gonna go back to the whatever. And Riva will leave. As she does, she just shoots down a few pigeons on the way out.
That counts as fighting.
Thud.
It's hardly a fight.
Just because you're good at winning doesn't mean it's not a battle.
Working pigeons on the way out. I love it. All right. Riva, where are you headed then?
I'm heading back to Benny's, I guess.
Okay. Fantastic. We'll get to you in a second then. Frankie, now that your chill has been completely unchilled, with the insistence that you need to do something with yourself.
It's like
What are
Issa's right
you
back there,
doing?
just nattering in my ear. You need to do something with your life. I am. Go away.
Are you going to go back to meditation, or are you going to potentially go do something else?
I mean, does this tree feel any more like it's going to let me closer?
No.
Then I'm gonna go somewhere else.
All right, cool. You have any particular direction you're headed?
Probably gonna go check out the market, see if there's any place that's got like food or just any form of enjoyment. I'm people watching.
Sure.
Like, I don't have
Awesome.
any real goal until we get back to the dragon.
Cool beans. All right, we'll get to you here in just a second. Rosina, how long are you going to be doing your meditative state or whatever? I know that I'm going to go ahead and have you make your first insight check now to see if you comprehend that book.
Okay,
Um,
great.
just
I wouldn't
stupid.
say like super long. Let's see. Insight. Nice. That is a 16.
You can't quite make it out yet. You're getting closer. You're starting to see some of the some of the some of the intricacies of the book, and you're starting to kind of piece it all together. So for right now, you haven't really gleaned any major information, but you're headed that direction. So you get your chance to do that. You start walking out. You will probably be about 5 minutes behind Riva and Frankie's spat. So you'll be heading out. Where is there any particular place that you'll be heading after that, or would you just be going to wait?
I don't think so. I would think I would just be going to wait.
Okay, cool. So you're going to be headed through the marketplace as well, and then off a slightly different direction. Okay, so we're going to circle back around to Augustine. You were headed back to Benny's when you had kind of a thought in your mind that maybe something else would potentially provide the amplification of what you're trying to do. And you think of heading towards the road to eternity, and more specifically, the temple of the Mother of Mercy. And you start heading that direction. Now, I will leave it up to you. You all may see each other, but you will be walking through the market at roughly the same time. Whether you choose to interact is entirely up to you all. It's a pretty busy. It's pretty busy, although there are sparse areas simply because of there's kind of a not necessarily a direct martial law going on, but very much in the terms of like unless they're shopping, people are generally staying inside because this is a war and no one wants to get caught up in that shit. So.
I
Um,
think Augustine, unless anyone stops her, is going to just like she's on a mission because she intends to do the ritual and like have a conversation, and she wants to have as much time as possible for that.
okay, cool. So, Reva, what's your passive perception?
$16.
All right. Frankie, I know yours is 18. Um, Rosanna, you wouldn't quite be there yet. So right now we have Frankie saying, I did my part, and Reva going, I didn't do shit. So, Frankie, you
We
actually,
weren't fighting, but we might be soon.
you actually do manage to catch a glimpse of Augustine headed back, kind of through the marketplace, but very much pinpointed and arrowed towards where you just came from. Are you going to intercede, or are you just going to let her do her thing?
Knowing full well that she's gonna clock me the second I'm within range of her, I'm just gonna kind of low-key fall into step beside her and wait to see if she's in the mood to talk or if this is gonna be a okay, cool, good talk and leave.
Okay. So lockstepping next to you is Frankie, who is just kind of tentatively, just like without saying
What's
it, like,
up?
girl.
I can walk and talk, but I am on my way to go do a ritual to talk to a goddess. So I want to have as much time as possible before we have to go to the dragon to have this conversation.
Do you want company or to be left alone?
Oh, you can absolutely join me. I don't know if it'll include you in the ritual, but it's worth a shot. Be interesting if you can tag along.
Who are we talking to?
Frick. Hold on, I have to check.
We're talking to Rick? Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Is it Joden?
Yes, Joden is the Mother of Mercy.
The Mother of Mercy, Joden. She's also known as a goddess of wish. I am weirdly familiar with the gods who have temples here. Just
You okay?
stuff I've learned over the years. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. What's the easiest way to put this? I have learned some information that is making me question my own moral compass. And of all of them, Joden at least seems like she would give an unbiased perspective with actual good intent behind it. So,
Is anything you get from this going to be relayed to the rest of the group?
yeah, if it's pertinent, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go somewhere else then. Have fun.
Bye.
Right.
If
All
we're
right,
gonna get this twice, there's no reason for me to join her.
this is boring. I'm out.
Pretty much. Oh, God stuff. No, I don't care. Bye.
All right. You end up, Rosina, what's your passive perception now that Augustine's headed more that direction?
16.
Well, the road's a little less crowded. You're headed out. She's headed in. You do clock her. It looks like she's on a mission. Do you wish to intercept or say anything?
Mm. The last time I saw Augustine, she looked kind of conflicted. Now she looks pretty determined. So I think maybe I'll try to intercept and just say hello.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm just imagining Rosina just awkwardly stepping dead in front of Augustine. Hello?
Hello.
Pulls up and hi Rosina.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. I was gonna go do a ritual to talk to one of the gods and see if they have some moral insight on what we're dealing with.
Oh, that's a great idea. Well,
You're
I hope
free
it
to
goes
come if
well.
you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Joden, and honestly, I think based on what I've heard about her and what I've learned about you, she'd probably like you visiting her temple. So,
I would love to tag along.
all right.
Alrighty. We'll have you two carrying on, heading back to the road to eternity, or heading down it to find the temple of the Mother of Mercy. Frankie, as you're entering, you clock Riva pretty quickly, and Riva, whatever you're doing, you're headed where specifically? Sorry. I know that Frankie's doing some puttering around in the market or whatever. But Riva, where were you headed?
Actually, I want to go to the market as well because she wants to go get a new outfit. So
Perfect. All right. So you clock each other, and I mean it is what it is. You can, if you're looking for clothes, there's obviously her a Cornucoanan who's using interesting outfit making methods. There's a few other shops. Obviously, there's a fantastic eatery there. Frankie, is there anything specific you're looking for in the market, or you just said you're people watching? So
Basically, like
yeah,
Frankie's probably found a ball somewhere and is just like doing that douchebag 20-somethings guy thing where they're like fucking around with a soccer ball.
fantastic. So Reva, you find are you looking for anything in particular with your outfit, or are you just looking for something new?
She's looking for something new to wear to the death plane. It's all like very dark colors, but I can say the description for later. But
Sure, sure. I do want to point out that our chat has said that we just need to give you all a real gun. Thank you, Ben.
We do technically have a guy for that. It's a girl, but we have a guy for that.
All right. So we'll we'll get that worked out, who you're going to speak with, how that's going to work out. You'll basically find what it is you're looking for. No big deal. It's just a matter of how much time you want to spend talking with any one individual. We'll work that out in a moment. So Augustine and Rosina, you find yourselves, Rosina, you find yourself back in the at the end of the Road of Eternity. Augustine, you clock very immediately the temple that you're looking for. Um, you find a not at all ostentatious kind of little church that is surrounded with plant life and a few little streams here and there. Like it's a very modest kind of temple, and you look at that and go, "That's the place." There's nobody standing out front. There's any lines that would have been there. Like there's people that are walking in and out. Just very plain clothes, wearing some robes. There's a few holy symbols you see on them. So there's some followers, some devouts, some clerics as well. As you walk up to the door, you are greeted by um, a half orc, and he's like, "Hello, I welcome to the Mother of Mercy." Hello.
Hello.
Augustina's not laughing. I'm sorry. That accent.
I don't know if that's one of your best accents or your worst,
So
but it's doing something.
I have no idea. It is what it is. Well, how can I help you?
we actually would like to come in and hopefully have a moment to commune with the goddess.
Of course. Please head in. The temple sanctuary is open currently.
Are there any rooms in the temple that might be more private? I only ask because we would prefer to commune in private.
Oh, yes. Please follow me. And he walks in, and he bids that you follow him, and he walks off. There's because it's like I said, it looks like a typical church, like a little Presbyterian thing, like one of those old timey ones that's built out of like stucco, and it's you know. Every time my mind's eye of it is outside's very pretty, full of plant life and just beautiful things like flowers and everything along those lines. But it looks like it's made out of like adobe. It's just like a little old timey like New Mexico, like Catholic style. Like we didn't spend an entire nation's worth of wealth building this, right? Um, we
You know how
didn't.
expensive those are, right?
That's why I said it's a very tiny one. Oh, whatever, man. This is the afterlife. They use soul clay. That's not canon. I'm gonna tell Rick
I'm
that.
going
He's gonna
home.
love it. You're already home.
Soul clay.
Note to Rick. He leads you off to the side. He goes, so there's like pews and everything along those lines that you would find. There's obviously a central podium, and where a mic would be, but we don't have mics here because this ain't the future and this isn't First Gate. So he leads you off to a back room and he's like, this is where we normally have the snacks, but you are free to use.
Thank you.
Of course, if you need anything, do not hesitate to ask. I am but a humble servant of the Mother of Mercy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
And he very like these like and to tell you like it takes you a second to realize underneath this robe, this 6'4" half orc is completely jacked, but carries himself like he's like a 3'5" lanky string bean of a human being, right? Just it does not fit.
I love him.
And he goes, "Okay, you have a good time now." And he closes the door just delicately. Like you don't even hear it touch the latch. You don't hear the latch actually catch, but the door is obviously closed. And you just hear him like walking away going, "Ah, yes, yes. That's right. A prey."
Can I like make a, I don't know, some kind of check to see if he's like in a disguise, if that's his like normal form? Like what?
Oh, you want to see if there's anything about him that's sus? Yeah, make an
Is he a
insight check.
changeling? Yeah.
I'm gonna make one too.
Sure.
That's an 18.
Okay.
That's a 33.
33. Yeah. No, not hiding anything. Not a disguise. Nothing. That is just a really big half orc who carries himself like a devout follower.
Okay then.
He's one of the real ones.
Rosina, I'm about to cut off one of my fingers. Don't panic. It's part of the ritual. Last time I did it, the person I talked to actually gave me my finger back because she knows how vain I am and how much I was going to internally suffer over it. But it's necessary for the conversation I want to have, so it's going to happen.
Okay, I can't bring that back for you.
You can?
No,
You can't.
I cannot.
That's fine. That's okay. Losing a little bit of my vanity isn't going to kill me. No, not like it would matter at this point. Just going to get to work on doing the
Absolute
ritual.
decline into just like, it's fine, I don't matter.
If she's spiraling,
Augustine hit
it's possible.
fuck it. She hit it hard.
She's
Do you want-
spiraling a little bit.
Do you want me to cut it off for you? Why am I offering to do this?
No, it's all right. I can do it. It's fine. And Augustine, just like the first time, is just gonna take that blade and
Before you do that, you fucking psycho.
that's what she did last time.
Do an Arcana check as you think through the ritual and how it's cast.
Can I have advantage because I've done the ritual before?
Sure.
Okay, because that was a nat 1 at first.
That would have been really funny. I hope you roll another one. This will be great.
15.
Okay. So, you're not 100% sure, but maybe you don't need as big of a sacrifice, seeing as you're in a place of power for the entity that you're trying to connect with. So perhaps a bloodletting or something minor like that will do the trick. You understand intrinsically the reason why the sacrifice was needed was so great was because of the tie and the fact that you were not in a place of power connected to the person you were trying to contact.
That's fair. I feel like Augustine is fully ready to do it and just goes, wait, hold on. No, what the fuck am I doing? And just slices her palm open and squeezes
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I think you should try that first. That is a good try.
Okay. Um,
And it is Joden that she is trying to reach out to.
Fantastic. So, um, time seems to slow down for you. Rosina, you're close enough to the ritual that you actually you're in on this. You're in the same room, you're within the circle area, and everything around you goes dark. You're both standing in nothingness. And in this nothingness, starlight starts to pop up around you and underneath you and kind of everywhere. It's too far to touch, but it's close enough that you feel the light and you can see the light. Um, and in front of you, Augustine, um, a mist starts to swirl, and damn it, I can't believe that popped into my head. A new hand touched the beacon.
No.
But a voice resonates, and as the voice resonates and it speaks, each time you hear words, the mist lights up. It's as if you're staring at a floating star galaxy. It's swirling slowly, as if you're looking at it from light years away. If I could do that, what I would. But uh, and it lights up as it speaks, and it says, um, you get 3 questions.
Limiting but fair. I'm trying to think of how to word this to get the most information out of it in one singular question if possible. Can Augustine make a check really quick, just based on what she knows of Joden? If Joden would have enough of a presence here to be aware and like have like the omniscience of what is going on.
In terms of what's happening inside the Sunless Crossing, or what's happening in the universe as a whole?
I mean, I guess technically both, more so Sunless Crossing than the universe as a whole, but both.
You don't know. You do know that this is a place of power for Joden, but you don't know how in tune with this particular plane of existence Joden actually is. It could be with the realm itself, it could be with a select area within the realm.
I hate to use one of my questions on this, but how in tune with this plane are you as far as knowing the goings on presently?
As in tune as I need to be, I can answer most questions about followers here. I can surmise the recent happenings as they've caught my attention.
If you are aware of the place I and my companions hold in present machinations, is the path that we are about to go down the best for the people here? Is it? I want to be certain my moral compass is not pointing in the wrong direction. Is this going to cause more harm than good?
There's a long silence, as if pondering. It depends on what you consider a positive outcome. The path laid before you is but one choice. It has the potential to do what it is that you seek if all parties involved are successful. But as to whether or not it's a good thing, I personally could not tell you.
It was worth a shot. Final question then. What is your standing opinion on Nixia?
You're not sure what, like you feel that long sigh. And the answer that comes back is she made the ultimate sacrifice. And we have not fulfilled our bargain. I guess in terms of what mortals view as the emotion that would be best fit here, regret.
Not everything needs to end in sacrifice. That's not a question. Just something I hope that you and the other gods are going to begin to understand. Sometimes a sacrifice only makes things far worse.
The mist that's in front of you stays for just a minute or so after that last question, and as if it's listening to your words. And then the darkness around you and the stars start collapsing in, and you find yourselves back in the snack room.
Rosina, I'm going to tell you something that I need you to keep between us for now.
All right.
Fate wasn't supposed to survive.
What?
And because Fate wasn't supposed to survive. And because I made sure that she did. The universe is essentially broken.
Rosina, here's a fun bit that you get to experience that no one else gets to experience. I need you to roll a percentile dice for me.
Okay.
Excuse me, what did I just do to Rosina?
Historically, you probably broke her.
That is a 92.
It slams into you like a stack of bricks. You remember that somehow alternate timelines exist, and that still doesn't make sense to you because math is stupid. But you recall in your timeline, Fate's dead. Fate never made it. What is she talking about? Like, you all killed Lacroix, but what does she mean? Fate is alive. And then it hits you. That last second when you're like, what do you mean Fate's alive? And then you immediately are pulled into a scene in your mind where you were there with them. You're not sure how it's possible. You're looking through eyes that are actually your own. You're standing on the bridge and you're watching an ending scene of where you see a moment in time where Lacroix is dying, and you see the same thing you saw, which is he reached up with his sword and his final act was to skewer Fate. But this time, standing on the other side of the bridge is Augustine, who you don't remember being there. But what happens is Fate starts to collapse. The sword comes out, but then she like stands back up, looks very perplexed and confused, and you see a wound and blood start to pour from Augustine's chest as she collapses to the ground. And then you snap back out of it, and you're back in this moment.
Wait, I just saw it. You died for Fate.
Thought it was unmuted, sorry. Yes, that was actually the deal I made with Majin. If Fate was going to take a lethal blow, then the last of my life force would go to her to sustain her, and I would die instead because I felt she was the best hope for the city.
She did not make it in my timeline. So if she is alive in your timeline, I wonder if that messed up something. She wasn't supposed to survive.
I mean, I just learned a lot of information that boils down to we fucked up. And part of it being me saving the woman I love. And now we're on the precipice of doing another major thing involving a sacrifice. I can't trust my judgment on this. But from what I can tell, you are a good person with good morals. So, what is your take on all of this? Because even this goddess who's supposed to be the end-all be-all on doing good in the world doesn't even know.
Yeah, we have such little information to move forward with. It seems like everywhere we turn, no one really knows anything about her. I hate to say it, but I think we should follow Majin, and I don't trust Dorian or Lacroix. I think we need to just move forward and see what happens.
Oh, I will say this. I don't believe that Nixia is fully dead. No god is fully dead until the day that the last person who knows their name can no longer speak it aloud and they die. That is when a god truly dies. There is some portion of Nixia out there, and maybe if I can use what I've learned and try to find a way to make this spell more powerful, I might be able to reach out to that essence, and we might be able to get more answers. Maybe.
That seems like the best shot we have.
So now we try not to die in the domain of death, I guess.
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and break away from this scene as time is starting to wrap up before the appointed time to go to the horde, as it were. We travel back over to the marketplace where Riva is perusing various shops. Frankie is douching it up with a soccer ball or a beanbag. I'm pretty sure that it's a beanbag. I'm just going to throw that out
Soccer
there.
ball.
So,
You
fine,
don't get to
soccer
choose
ball.
that it's a soccer ball.
Fine. You got a soccer ball looking pretty dope
I
over
get
there.
to pick my level of douche. Go away.
Yeah, buddy. There's some kids that come over and want to engage with you because you have a soccer ball, so it's fun. So
Oh, 100%.
that's
Absolutely
absolutely a
doing
thing.
that.
Yes. So some of the douchebag wipes away as you're like, oh, kids. I like kids.
My kid bait has worked, and not in a creepy fashion. This is great.
That.
Shut up. It's too late. It's already out of my mouth.
Soul clay. Riva, you find a shop that specializes in whatever it is that you're looking for. they've heard tale of you. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you can find it. Whether you want to interact with any particular shopkeepers, um, for the sake of everyone here, as you will eventually travel through the marketplace at some point, some familiar faces have made their way down here, so that we're all familiar with who's here. There's the Cornucoinen, who is a name that I forgot. That's what I do.
She's yours, for
I
God's
know
sakes.
it's been a while. Not gravy. It's hardtack. Hardtack is the Cornucoinen. There's Biscuit, of course, whom died during the ending of the last Red Opera. Um, there is a familiar gnome with a green hat by the name of Carl, who has found his way down here at this point and made his way into the city. And an old beloved friend. There is a what the hell? There is a Caldenkind that has begun setting up shop in the marketplace as well. And it just says Kodiak's new shop. So a plethora of options to choose from should you choose to meander through the marketplace. Riva, you've gotten what you're looking for. Off to the side, you see Frankie being super dope, playing with some kids, kicking a soccer ball back and forth after you've made your purchase. Do you wish to engage again, or do you wish to avoid whatever that was from previous?
Reva just sort of watches for a minute. Kind of looks at Frankie. And is just like trying her best to like understand who
Frankie is
they are.
unironically having the best time.
Like, it sees it and it's like, whatever. Not, I can't. And walks away. And I'm gonna head to Carl.
Right. So you're gonna head over to Carl. Can't wait to read this chat. I gotta get out of here. Hello. Welcome to Carl's Wares. Hey, I remember you.
Yes, Kermit. It has been so long.
Carl.
Kermit.
Carl.
Why I think your name's different?
No, it's Carl. I was always Carl.
Whatever you say, man.
Whatever you say, man. Ma'am.
It's been so long. When did you get here?
Oh, probably about a day and a half ago. Someone came in and they wanted to buy all of my things. And then someone came in behind them and they were, how do you say, falling apart? Well, I took care of that guy. Next thing you know, a few days later, my veins turned all red. Oh my god, I'm switching into an horse. Sorry, that's a DM fuck up. I apologize to everybody.
What just happened to you?
My veins turned all red, and then I turned to dust and I found myself here. He tried to recruit me, but I said, no, thank you. Carl is a salesman.
That's good for you. I'm glad. I would stay out of the war if you could. It's gonna be a mess.
Yeah. He looks around.
Well,
he's
it
like,
is a mess already, but it's only going to get bigger as time goes on.
Of course. Can I interest you in any baubles? I don't have quite the selection I once did.
I would be happy to peruse. Do you have anything that might be useful?
Well, it depends on what you mean by useful.
Something that might like help me survive if I'm
Oh.
like in a battle.
Um.
Anything magical?
Oh.
He starts rooting around in a box.
And he goes, when I came down here, there was only a few things. Hmm. Would you be interested in a monkey's paw?
Would you like to describe what it does?
Well,
If anything, is it just
it's only got one, but it's it grants wishes.
does it? The monkey paw
Yes.
grants wishes,
Yes.
Kermit?
Yes.
Right. And how much do you want for the monkey paw, Kermit?
What do you have to offer?
Okay.
I know
Let's
things don't
see.
work the way they used to. We used to do favors and gold. None of that really matters down here. So I'm
I
trying to
got
learn new stuff.
I got some crossway coins. Would you be interested in that?
Yes.
How much?
Well, considering this is a very powerful magic item,
Okay. Are you gonna make me answer this question?
yeah. Well, make an offer. I don't know what you have.
I don't. Okay. I can give you a crossway coin worth 4,600. That's the lowest one I got.
Hmm. Gotta start somewhere. Sure.
And he sets the paw down on the thing, and he holds out his hand as if to, waiting for you to give him the crossway coin.
Yeah, I'll hand it to him.
Oh,
And how are
fantastic.
you supposed to use the monkey's paw? Did you just ask it?
That's what I was told. I couldn't really test it myself. It's only got one finger left.
Right. Okay, sure. All right. I'll look into it. Do you have
Okay.
anything else particularly interesting?
Not
there?
really. Most of the other stuff is just some moldy sheets, an extra set of clothes, and there's a diamond over. Oh, there's a diamond over here. I don't know if any of you use diamonds.
I don't think they're very useful now that no one can really revive.
Oh yeah. Well, if anyone needs diamond dust, I can make that too, I guess. But
I'll have to tell my friend. I don't use any of that stuff for my spells.
okay.
All right. Well, it's very nice meeting you. My friend Augustine, if you remember her, she's
Oh
in
yeah.
town too.
Oh man. I hope she got that thing worked out with that necklace. I found out after you all left that it was cursed.
What necklace?
Oh, it was some tiger's eye thing.
Oh, I don't know if she has that anymore.
Oh,
I mean, I
well.
don't think she brought it down here with her.
Oh, problem solved. Well,
I'll have
I
to
guess
tell her.
if
I
she
don't know if
gave
she
it to somebody,
knows.
they probably had. Oh!
Are you okay? It keeps happening.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go find her and probably tell her about you. It was very nice meeting you, though.
Of
I'm
course,
also
of
going to
course.
figure out if this monkey paw is real.
Okay.
All right. You have a good one, man.
You too. Bye.
And She's just gonna start wandering around trying to find Augustine, I guess.
All right. So you'll end up wandering around. It's kind of all around the same time. Augustine and Rosina. I assume that once it gets closer to the time, you'll start heading towards the horde. Frankie, you're probably doing the same thing with your people watching. Outside of seeing, actually, Frankie, just for the sake of humor here, I'm gonna give you, um, because this was definitely your MO when you were a kid. Give me an insight check against Carl.
It's to read dice that I have, because of course I did. 19.
All right, cool. You clock it. Like at first, you're kind of like looking at it, and you're like, "There's something off about that monkey's paw," and then you start listening, and you're like, "Wait a minute, Carl's a dick. It's legitimately a monkey's paw, but it's not magical." And as you look at it, you realize what's just happened. The monkey paw itself is it's shaped like this. So the only finger remaining is the middle finger. And you clock immediately that Carl's just trying to get back on his feet. And he's just selling whatever garbage he's managed to find down here. So you're like, respect sees respect. That's definitely your old. That's definitely something you did as a kid, trying to sell people useless garbage and taking their money in favors. So there's that. Everyone will probably, Reva, actually, you wouldn't have known that they went back because you didn't clock her heading back the other direction. So you'll be puttering around, waiting and looking, and then probably the idea pops in your head, oh, well, I mean, we're all going to head to the horde anyway. Maybe I'll see her there. Frankie, I don't know if you're going to keep sticking around and you're going to go back at the same time. I'll leave that up to you. Augustine and Rosina, are you going to head there to be there on time, or are you going to be fashionably late? What's your MO?
Clear on that?
I mean, I think we'll just go and get there on time. Augustine really only feels she needs to be fashionably late at like galas and such because then it draws more attention.
All right, fantastic. Frankie, you going to get there on time?
I mean, probably a couple minutes behind everybody else and has inexplicably gotten some sort of meat on a stick at this time.
All right, Reva, you end up showing up at the same time. You all kind of approach, you're all kind of walking, not lockstep, but you come in from different directions, and you find yourselves walking up to the massive dragon's horde. And sitting atop it is the spirit of a ancient blue dragon, who looks at you all. It does not malice so much in its eyes, as much as it is more just like outright annoyance that it's being told that it has to let people partake of its wealth. Even in the afterlife, dragons are petty bitches. So you all approach at the same time. Before I get started with what I'm going to do, is anyone going to say hello? What's up?
As Frankie approaches the pile, Viva will look to them and say, "Hey, I wanted to talk. I'm sorry about the whole thing happened earlier. I didn't mean to get on you about how you don't care about dying. I got you a little something.
No.
What? It's
Just because you
it's
got
from-
ripped off by Carl doesn't mean I get the thing that you got ripped off about.
What do you mean I got ripped off?
You've met Carl, right?
Yes, that's where I got sword from.
Yeah, Carl's what happens when people like me turn into adults and actually have to get jobs.
Well, you can still have it if you want it.
I'm okay.
Maybe you can wish for like a better personality or something. I don't know.
It's too late. I'm already here. We're committed to this one.
All right. Here, Dragon, I
And
got something for you.
I'm gonna the absolute the absolute burn from that from the not bard. I'm gonna remember that. That's fantastic. Thank you. All right, so maybe you can wish for a better personality. I should give you one usage of vicious mockery.
I'm literally looking at my spells like, do I have Hellish Rebuke? Because goddamn, that was mean.
That was fucking solid. All right.
Damn.
Trying to give you a gift. What do you mean?
It's not that I don't appreciate it. I just don't have any use for a dead monkey hand. There's nothing involved in this otherwise.
Hmm.
All right. So Augustine, you saw
You
that
100%
exchange.
did not buy that planning for this to be something that you were apologizing with later.
Probably just because
Reba or Roman, that was not intended until you were told that that was full of shit.
Augustine's gonna wander over to them and say, "Are you talking about Carl? Carl's here."
Yes, Kermit, he's here. Yes.
But to be fair with Carl, it can be hit or miss. There was a chance it could have been something good. I mean, I got a
Yes.
perfectly harmless necklace from Carl. I expected it would be cursed, but nothing really happened.
Is that right? How long did you keep that for, by the way?
Just a few weeks, and then I think I paid Frankie for information with it or something. I remember I gave it to you. I'm sure you pawned it or something, which is whatever. It was pretty, but
Do you remember that week being one of the worst weeks of your life?
That's why. God.
So
Well,
he sometimes sells cursed things.
Okay.
well, sometimes he sells magical items apparently, but
considering where we met him, the whole sells cursed items is kind of an addendum on like every single shop there.
yeah, sword wasn't cursed. So some items are good, some are bad.
Also, that thing is disgusting. Why are you carrying it around? As she pointedly looks at the monkey's paw.
Well, I get into the dragon at this point, but
Oh,
Dragon looked visibly concerned, but just
what? I
kind of
thought you
shrugged
wanted
it off.
like things.
Augustine
Oh, it's not good enough for you?
A slow blink.
Augustine's gonna go over and like take the heel of her boot and like push it away from the pile. Just, I'm so sorry. I know that was an insult and not an offering. I am so sorry. She didn't mean any harm by that, I'm sure. Towards the dragon.
It looks at you and it goes, I've been instructed to give you each something special. I do, however, request one thing in return. Not this monkey's paw, obviously.
Well, that's not fair.
That feels fair.
I gave you something.
No.
That's like giving a banker a piece of
Not-
trash and expecting it to be deposited.
Not each of you. You. And he looks directly at you, Augustine, and goes, step off my lawn.
Oh, me turning into. Oh no, that's not meant as disrespect. I'm so sorry. I don't want any territory or anything. I literally just have so much respect for draconic prowess that's how I, tend to try to fight if I have the opportunity. It's fully out of respect.
It looks at you incredulously and goes, fine. Don't touch my hoard. And it's with that that one of the Nixian guards walks up and goes, would you knock it off and just give them what you promised? And the dragon goes, fine. I don't have much for each of you, but I did root around in my
Stares
things.
pointedly at the giant pile of shit. No, minuscule, truly.
It's mostly gold.
Ah, yeah, no, that's fair. That is kind of functionally useless down here.
He goes, I have a few things for each of you. Um, let's see. Which one of you is Franklin? The Nixian guard walks in with Frankie. Frankie.
Ah, yes, that would be me.
Ah, yes.
It's not short for Franklin, it's long for Fa.
You got it. Anyway, I have a couple of items that I feel would benefit you on your journey. This was left by a draconian many, many years ago before he eventually moved on to whatever the hellscape that was. I believe he referred to this as, and floating up is what appears to be an ankh, like the Egyptian style
Yep.
looking thing. And he goes, I believe he referred to this as an ankh of focus or whatever.
If I look up Anka Focus or whatever, is it going to pop up anywhere or is it going to have to be shortened?
It's in there. It's ankh of focus or whatever. Plus two. It's a spell focus that allows you to get +2 to your spell casting modifier, as well as +2 to your spell casting DC. It's a very stupid item that I had to make up on the fly. The other thing that floats up is a staff. This one is not in there. You can write it down or create it yourself, whatever you like. I'll send you the stats on it. But this one is a staff of sanctuary. Just for your knowledge, it has 10 charges. You can use 1 charge to cast the spell Unseen Servant. You can use 3 charges to cast the spell Sanctuary using your own spell save. And 4 charges creates a Leomund's Tiny Hut.
Okay.
That is what I have found for you, Fa.
At the risk of sounding ungrateful, do you by any chance have like a component pouch that somebody spit off here at some point?
Any particular type of magic you use?
Cleric for the most part.
Reaches in and finds what appears to be a box of like 8, and it opens up and there's like candles and incense and all sorts of other stuff in there, as well as a few spell components. He goes, I believe this is cleric stuff. Here you go. And it
Thank you.
floats over to you. Which one of you is... Are ghosts real?
Okay.
That's me.
Oh, sorry, Rosina.
How'd
I
you
do
know
not.
about that?
I know a great many things, and stories are something I collect in my hoard as well. When you're around as long as I am, people begin to talk to you, whether you want them to or not.
I see.
I have for you a gift of... This is referred to as a Howl of Owl's Wisdom. This is a magic item that gives you +3 to your wisdom.
That sounds pretty good.
Yes. Unfortunately, your path is unclear to me, and I do not know what else I could offer.
Well, guess that's better than nothing. Thanks.
Of course. Fast Feet Riva and Sword.
A new title.
Well, it was either that or Dancy Pants. I wasn't sure which one you'd be more comfortable with.
Fast feet, probably.
Dancy Pants it is. I
If it's
give
not
to you
Sword, she has a name, by the
no.
way.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's not Sword. Not anymore, at least. It's Lariel. Lariel, I think it's
Lyriel. All right, fantastic.
Lariel.
Lyriel,
Lariel
please.
Armstrong.
Pardon me. Lyriel, if you would come out as well. And immediately, Sword jumps out of the scabbard and her corporeal form, obviously, pops up. She's standing next to you. She's leaning on you, and she's like, yes. And she goes, the dragon looks at both of you and goes, I have 2 potential things for Dancy Pants, and 1 thing for you, Lyriel. Mostly as a laugh. Dancy Pants, you get a choice of either bracers or a ring. Which would you prefer?
Give me the ring.
All right. You are given a ring of protection. After that ring is handed to you, the bracers kind of fall down by the wayside, and a rod is pulled up and is like floated over to Lyria. Lyria now has an immovable rod.
All right. Not too
My
bad. Thank
understanding
you.
is sometimes you go a little bit too fast, and she would like to slow you down. There's a
Here's
smirk
Alex.
on Lyria's face.
You could tell me these things, you know.
I know, but it's much more fun to just watch you react in the moment.
All right.
All right, let's see what's left. Dancy Pants, Pho, and Rosina, aka I didn't know ghosts were real, have been taken care of. Augustine, please step forward.
She will.
Um, hmm. I have a hard time figuring out what works best for you because your future is also unclear. But 2 things, 3 actually, stick out. 2 of which may not be necessarily useful immediately. 2 of which are. And I have to balance the scales somehow. Ah, yes. So, floating out is a staff, a stone that looked like a petrified heart, and a sword and shield that look old and rusted and not at all useful, frankly. And the dragon looks at you and goes, these 2 are gifts. I was informed that these would come in handy later. I do not know what purpose or what they do, but I was told to hand them off to you and that their importance would be given and known to you at a later date. As for these, this here is a staff of healing, the very rare variety. This one, I warn you, if you take it, given your profession, you are stuck with it for life. But it will benefit you greatly no matter what you do.
And why would I be stuck with it for life?
Because if you were to ever give it away, you would immediately die. Allow me to explain the story behind this stone. A long time ago, back when I was but a hatchling, it would have said that a bard betrayed the love of their life in order to create this item in a deal to give them the competitive edge they needed in an upcoming competition. If that's true, I would hate to be the next one to come along and pick this up. As I said, the stone has an appearance of a heart turned to stone, and it radiates a pale blue glow that is captivating.
Has Augustine ever heard of anything like this before, especially considering the lore of it is tied to a bard?
Yes, you can roll a history check.
Okay. 19.
Okay. Yeah, you've heard bits and pieces about this. You think you remember, not you weren't around during the time, but this item has passed in and out of history, and anytime it's been attached to a bard, that bard has either kept it and cherished this item, or they met an untimely end. The little bits and pieces you do know about it is that it was said to grant mastery over certain things. It was said to increase the potency of spells, but more interestingly is that it was said to have been able to become any instrument that the bard needed.
Augustine does kind of hesitate a little bit, but she is going to reach out and take both the staff and the stone.
The dragon looks... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I almost forgot I was going to do this. Augustine will kind of like shift them both to one hand and reach into her pouch or her bag, and she is going to pull out. She has a lot of journals in there. She's going to pull out one of those journals at random, kind of lay it on the board. I'm a bard. You said you collect stories. You won't find those anywhere else.
Your gift is appreciated.
As are yours. Even if you were strong-armed into it.
Looks over at the Nixian guard. The Nixian guard's like, I was under orders, all right? The dragon goes, very well. May you have success in your journey. I only request that when you do not have need for any of those items, with the exception of you, if you do not need them, feel free to return them. And the dragon just starts turning around and lays its giant, massive head down and closes its eyes. And appears to be trying to get back to sleeping, which is what it's always done every time you've passed it.
Kind of in the same vein as Augustine, I have like 15 gold apparently still on me because I died poor. So I'm going to put that on there
Nice.
because they seem to like that.
All right, perfect. I'm sending out the information on items that I've given you that do not have any descriptions. Uh, just so you're aware, that Staff of Sanctuary, Frankie, it recharges 1 die 4 charges after each long rest. And once we get that book of change, I will send you that information, Rosina. All right. So that is the Horde. You are all free to do whatever it is that you would like to do from here. I don't know if you have journeys that you wanted to do. You have plenty of time. It's only been a couple hours. No matter what it is, unless you're doing something crazy, you're all going to get your long rest. If you want to putter around, do some role play, meet up with people, discuss things, potentially go out in the fields, I'm not going to stop you. This is your time to really get into whatever it is that you would like to do before we embark upon the next leg of the journey.
So I'll say this out of character. Augustine does intend to go out into the fields to that statue of Nixia, because that's the last person she was going to try and reach out to. Now, out of character, I understand it's a very stupid idea to go alone. In character, I'm willing to find an excuse for her to not go out there if nobody else wants to go out there.
Augustine,
You will
roll
go
for
with you if
me
you want.
religion.
Rosina would also be fine with going.
You would. Let's do this. Hell yeah.
Is it one I would have advantage on?
Yes, based on how long you've been here and what you've learned while you've been here.
Perfect. 23.
Cool. So you know that was built in homage of Nixia and doesn't have really any direct ties to her, so to speak. If you're looking for a place to contact Nixia, the best place would be the Wisteria tree, which is rumored to be her grave.
Okay. So that's where Augustine will be wanting to go, at least before bed.
Okay.
Even though we don't really have a concept of day and night here.
There's really not. It's just a cycle of endless violence at this point. Did the screaming stop? It's mid-afternoon. All right. So you have an idea of where you'd like to go at some point. Fantastic. Anybody else have any plans or things that they would like to do? This is your time, everybody. You want to go talk to some NPCs. You want to go get some more information. You want to do some investigations. I'm opening it up to you all.
I'd like to go talk to Kodiak for a little bit.
Fantastic.
I know you're sick. I'm putting you through all of your voice paces tonight.
You bastard. Oh my God. All right, so you're going to be heading back towards the market. Anybody else going to be going towards the market? Any other directions that you're heading? Are we going to split the party again? Are we going to go in the similar directions?
I mean, that's kind of the same direction as the tree, right? Like, I can catch up with them after.
Mm-hmm.
Rosina would like to make some cosmetic changes to her armor before we go for like a new fresh look. Is that something like I forget how the stuff works here?
Yes. So there's one of two ways you can do it. Because typically what happens when you appear in the Sunless Crossing is you become your idealized self. I allow for you to make those minor cosmetic changes by simply, going, that's not who I am anymore. This is who I am now. You can make changes and alterations to what your clothes look like that way. However, you can also go get inspiration for that from someone in the marketplace or from another character or an NPC, and then you can use it that way, either by bartering for some sort of clothing or actually turning that into part of who you are. Totally fine either way.
Okay. Well, I think in this case, it's since it's kind of a minor change, I think it would just be like her saying that's not who I am anymore and sort of changing her armor to look similar to like the vibe of her dress, which was like that purple crystal. So now her armor is like purple and crystally.
Nice.
So that's a thing. And then I would like to continue to meditate on the Book of Change.
Sure. Are you going to go anywhere specific to do that, or are you just kind of like, you like find a bench and you're like, I think this will do?
You know, actually, the wisteria tree kind of seems like a great place to do it.
Cool. All right, so you and Augustine are headed towards the same direction. Riva, what are you up to?
Reva doesn't really have anything she wants to do, so I guess she'll stick with Augustine unless she doesn't want her company. So it's really up to Augustine.
Augustine will never say no to Reva's company.
Right, cool. So we're going to start with you three walking off. You're actually kind of all walking at the same time towards the marketplace. Some of you will branch off. So you got about 5 minutes before you make it into the marketplace. And then obviously, Frankie, you veer off, seeing what looks like it doesn't belong here. It's a shed. And it just says Odiak's new shop. So you three continue on, maybe having a little bit of banter back and forth before you actually split ways. We'll go ahead and start with Frankie. Frankie, you walk up to this place. Standing in front are two Caldenkind in front of the door, and they both look at you and go, "Hello. We are, how you say, not alive anymore. Would you like to shop our wares?"
It hasn't been long, but I have missed you two.
Oh. Wait. There's a rumbling from inside, and a third Caldenkind walks out, and it looks exactly like the other two, and he goes, Oh, get out of here, get out of here. And he just like, he swats away the illusions, and they just disappear, and he goes, Frankie, my boy, come on inside. I use, how
Frankie
you say...
will try and angle for a bear hug.
He's like, oh, good, Frankie. Yes, you remember, I love bear hugs.
Yes.
This is not Soviet bearcha, but you come inside. It is bigger inside, you see. We use Time Lord technology. That's what I was
remember.
told this is. And you walk inside and you find yourself in a massive area. It's as if you stepped into an alternate plane of existence. He goes, problem is I cannot stay here very long because I've learned that now that I am, how you say, dead, if I leave the realm for extended period of time, I begin to what it was that Kobold said. He said to me, it reminded him of a tagline from Moving Picture. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
I think they call it unraveling here?
Oh, yes. It causes slight quicker unraveling, so I come in here to sell wares, but time limit is 10 minutes a pop before you have to get back in touch with the realm itself.
Understood.
So be careful. This place is bad for health.
That's fair. Most places
OSHA has
around
not
here
checked in years.
are. How did you get down here? I know how I did.
I exploded.
Honestly, better than I expected. Probably not as good as you'd like, but better than I expected.
Oh, it was definitely a bad day. You know all those smoke bombs I used to make?
I do. Do you still have any?
Yes, I've got
Yes,
a couple.
that's a
Here
no.
you go. He goes, the ones that exploded, somebody replaced smoke powder with black powder.
Oof.
I
Rough
don't
day.
know. I don't know who it was, but that bastard, if I ever find him, kick his
I
butt.
mean, they're all pretty good that they're also down here at this point.
Ah, my search for vengeance begins. Pretty sure I'm going to name them Red October.
It will be a very lovely hunt, I am sure.
So, how can I help you, little one?
I have something for sale if you have any interest. And Frankie's gonna fish out of one of their pockets. Still has one of the woodskin bangles from like back when
Forever
we
and a
had
day
to
ago.
get all of the shit from Anya, or back for Anya or Riva, possibly both. There was some thieving.
Of course. Oh, you have one of those bangles. I absolutely. Let's see here. I have gathered up quite the collection of these crossway coins. You see,
Mm-hmm.
I found out you can get them on the cheap by just going and standing in line, and then you can sell things to get coins, and then you get a new coin. Also,
Clever.
I've gotten really good at purgatory poker, if you know what I mean.
I do not, but I need to find out. That can
For
happen later. We will not. It will take more than 10 minutes.
it will absolutely take more than 10 minutes, but it's very simple. Also, the storyteller needs to remember how to use a deck of cards on roll 20.
Like I said, this will take longer than 10 minutes and is also not what I am currently here for.
But yes, there are two types of purgatory poker. The one that is played with crossway coins, which is safer bet. But if you are feeling super risky and super frisky, there is a game that is played in anywhere, but you play with your memories.
Good to know. I'm gonna put a pin in that for now. What do you currently have that's not crossways?
Well, obviously, I was a bear of meager means when I was above because I was a general store. I never really partook in the whole magical item thing. So, other than those smoke bombs, I've got some wheels of cheese. I've got what is this? He pulls up. He's like, ah, yes.
Frankie used to sell shit to him, like, he's fully aware that he's a fucking liar right now about the magic stuff.
Doesn't care. He's like, look, not everything came down with me, okay? Some of it actually exploded.
Understood.
I did manage to keep my favorite thing. It came back into circulation after
It
the
better not be
passing
that
on.
fucking rock.
It's the best rock. Let me tell you how I
God
came
damn it.
across this rock. This rock, I killed a dragon with my bear claws. Ha ha! Get it, bear claws. Anyway, this rock, I took it and I threw it at the dragon's head. It vorpaled straight through. Dragon's head exploded. That is how I came across this stone once.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I still have that. And you actually look, and he's got it in the podium.
Back in the fucking case.
Yes, back in the case.
Of all the things he could have brought down here, he ended up bringing that fucking case and that goddamn rock.
It's his favorite. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
I also have these bracers. I didn't have much, but I've got these bracers. They're slightly magical. I don't know if you could use them. They're bracers of armor.
Sorry, my brain just went, all bracers are technically armor. Of course they
No,
are.
it's magical bracers. They
No,
make it hard. They make it harder for you to be hit.
Can I take a look at him?
Yeah. He's like, here you go. He's like, at one point I was tinkering with the idea of putting 6 very powerful rocks in there, but I decided they wouldn't really match the aesthetic.
That's fair. Don't want to overdo it. That'd be gaudy.
Gadi. We're in the place full of dead gods, and you say Gadi. So yeah,
Um, I'm gonna ask above table. Is this something that Riva would be interested in? Frankie is trying to do something nice and not good at knowing what you would like, Roman.
yeah, it's they're bracers of AC +2.
You probably imagine she would. It's like something like that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Um, Kodiak, are you up for a trade, or do I need to add more, take away more? What are
What
you
do you have?
vibing with for these?
What do you have to offer? I know that you've probably been here longer than I have, so obviously you've built up pockets of wealth like I have in the short
You're
time I've been
adorable.
here. What? Oh, that's
It
right.
is.
You forgot how to do things when you became her. It's
I didn't
okay.
forget. I just got really, really rusty.
Hey, it's okay.
I've been here
Kodiak
like two
forgives you.
weeks. I'll pick it back up.
You got this. I believe in you.
I
There's always
appreciate
space for
that.
you in my shop.
For 10 minutes at a time. I do appreciate that too.
That's fantastic. One of these days it will be longer. I
Uh-huh.
have once I figure out how to harness the power of this realm. But also, if you could procure things, like
I'll
old
see what I can
times.
I'll see what I can do for you. For the moment, what I have to offer is that wood skin bangle and like probably half a dozen pocket brownies, the good ones.
He goes, wait a minute. Are those bennies?
Benny's brownies, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, deal. This big
Excellent.
old closet just pulls all the brownies to him and the bangle, and he's like, perfect. I'm gonna have a great day. I should probably leave here before I eat these though, because I will forget.
I would save like 3 or 4 for later because as good of a time as you're going to have, you can have a better time if you pace it out.
Oh, very good, very good. Awesome. Oh god, it's about that time. We've got to get out of here. Come on, come on. He walks out and he's like, all right, there's a symbol. And he snaps his fingers and 2 holograms pop up. And he's like, is there anything else you need? I'm going to go talk to that little kobold.
He has not gotten less weird since being down here, and he beat both of us down.
That's why I want to go talk to him. I heard his sister is due for a visit.
She's fantastic.
He's
I'm
praised
I'm
me.
thinking hardtack and you are statistically thinking grits, but both of us are correct.
Yes. Oh, I don't. You've met her?
Points over at hardtack.
Oh, oh my God, no. No, that one is lovely. That one is
I agree.
got some grit to her, but the grits that I'm talking about has a level of audacity that rivals your bard's friend.
That feels horrifying and
It is
exceptionally
horrifying.
on brand for his family.
I think she's due down in a couple of days. I don't know if she's gonna be dead or not, but I'm fairly certain she does pop by every once in a while. I think the last time she came through the little box that she puts hands through, something about being able to
Here's where the hands
transform.
come from. Okay.
Yes, it's
Excellent.
he's not thrilled with it, but it is a thing that happens.
I mean, there's technically probably a market for them down here somewhere.
Yes, I believe Carl got one of them.
Just fist bump Kodiak and just on that note, I'm out. I gotta
Right.
catch up with people.
So you'll be about 10, 15 minutes behind them when you finally catch up. So Augustine, Riva, and Rosina, you all find yourselves heading back down the road to eternity Seems to be the kind of place where the cool kids hang out these days as you head towards the giant wisteria tree, which seems to hang over the entire city. I feel like I, as a storyteller, have done a disservice to how massive this tree is. It is on the size scale of like how big creatures and things are. It's gargantuan. It literally juts into the sky and actually overhangs a large portion of the city. And you can see through its branches and stuff. The vortex in the sky, obviously the fire raining down and all that jazz. But I just need you all to understand how bloody majestic this tree is, to really get a sense of scale for things. Let me see if I can. Ugh, I think there's a picture of it somewhere. Um, Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe it's not that big. Maybe I'm stupid. It wouldn't be the first time I'm stupid. It's huge, and I'm stupid. Whatever, it's big. It's big, it's majestic. That's what we'll go with. It doesn't cover up the entire city. I didn't read something, so that's my bad. But yeah, it's pretty big. Uh it seems like a holy spot in the city. People that pass by it give it reverence and things along those lines, despite the fact that maybe not everyone knows exactly what it is. So it takes you all about 10 minutes or so, and you make it to the tree. Augustine, you were the one that was heading here. Rosina, you were kind of just tagging along, correct? Same with you, Riva?
Seemed like a good place to meditate.
Yeah, I'm just hanging along.
All right. So, Rosina, while we're getting started with Augustine, go ahead and roll me an insight check as you plop down and open this book.
Hmm. Does the towel of wisdom or whatever require attunement?
Yes,
Okay.
the cowl. It's a towel now. It's canon. You have a towel of wisdom. You wear it
I didn't
around
hear
your.
you say
Really
cowl.
hoping I misheard that for your sake.
I thought it was a towel like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget your towel. You have a towel of Owl's wisdom.
I'm sorry. What check did you ask?
It's an insight check.
That's a 10.
All right, yeah. You understand it a little bit less, unfortunately. It's like it's not like you're able to read what you were able to read, but the gobbledygook that all of this is just what in the hell? Why is this so difficult? I'll give you another check
Eat one
here
of the
in a few
pocket
minutes.
brownies. Eat one of the pocket brownies. It's going to open your mind to further understanding.
Oh, that's a great idea. Rosina eats a pocket brownie, pauses, and then goes back to the book.
Oh man, we'll get to you here in a second then. That's fantastic. Augustine, you find yourself in front of the tree. What is it you would like to do?
Augustine is going to walk to the base of the tree, and she's not going to be making any like attempts to hide what she's doing or anything like that.
Mhm.
But she's going to walk to the closest part of the base of the tree because I understand this thing's massive.
It's
Sorry.
surrounded by what appears to be a moat with like frigid, like almost deathly cold water. There doesn't seem to be a pathway up directly to the tree, so the closest you can get is probably about 3 to 5 feet away on any
Does
given
it
side.
seem like a faux pas if I were to say teleport over to stand on a part of the tree?
It
Or
seems
next to it, if there's like any land next to it that I can stand on, but just
there
get
is
across the moat.
yeah, there's some land around it and kind of like behind it, sort of like a median sort of thing. But standing actually next to the tree, no one you've seen has done that. They pay reverence from a distance. It seems like it might potentially be a faux pas.
Okay. So Augustine will just stay there. And she's going to actually sit on the ground, kneel on the ground more like, and she's going to take out the envelope from before
Mm-hmm.
and take out the shorter letter that Fate wrote to her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's gonna spend a couple of minutes, which gives Frankie a chance to like actually catch up. But she's gonna spend a few minutes reading and rereading and rereading and memorizing everything about it, because Nixia is, for all intents and purposes, dead, despite what Augustine, holds as a belief. She's still in a status that's considered dead.
Mhm.
This is going to take a huge sacrifice. And for Augustine right now, the one thing she prizes above all else that she owns is going to be not even a piece of her. It would hurt less to get rid of a finger than it would to get rid of Fate's letter. But she is going to spend about 10 minutes rereading it to memorize every word in that letter. And then she is going to begin the ritual. And for the sacrifice, she is going to sacred flame on the letter and actually turns the damage to fire so that the letter burns to ash. And she's sacrificing the letter for the ritual.
Okay. And who are you trying to reach?
Whatever is left of Nixia, even if it's just a fathom of a feeling. From what little Augustine knows about Nixia, she is going into this knowing she may get nothing out of it, but also going in with this persistent determination of like, I know some part of you has got to still be out there because I at least remember your name, which means that you are still in existence, and I want to find you.
Okay. I am going to give this a shot. I need you to roll me an Arcana check. You do not get advantage. Unless you can somehow give yourself advantage.
Can I give myself one of my bardics to add to it?
Sure.
Am
I'll
I
even.
there?
You're all
Right.
there, yeah. About this point, Frankie walks up as you see Augustine burn a letter. And you feel a magic start to take hold.
I'll
If
say
I-
for giving herself bardic inspiration, I'm just going to say Augustine likes to write about just about everything she encounters. She has heard little things about Nixia. She didn't have much to go off of, but she would have a song for this. So she will, even if it's unfinished, sing to give herself that bardic like she's singing to Nixia.
Cool. Riva, what were you going to do?
As she starts singing, Riva will take Lariel and start dancing and give Augustine a D8 inspiration.
Okay.
And I'll also give her my inspiration for advantage.
Ooh, damn. That will only count on the D20 roll, but the other stuff you do get.
I'm going to start off by saying I haven't rolled the bardic yet.
Okay.
However, thank you so much, Roman, for the nat fucking 20 you just gave me. So that's going to be starting off at a 24, but let me add, it's a D8 of inspiration, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a D8, and then there's a D12. All those. 24. 32. 41. That is a 41 Arcana.
Well, I didn't
rolled an
think I
8
was going
on
to
the
have to
D8
roll up
and a
this
9
thing.
on
Ugh. Okay.
Bless your heart for thinking that this wasn't going to happen.
Look, I didn't know that anyone was going to try this, and I have the inside scoop on something, so this is going to be beautiful. Augustine, this is going to be super cool and also fucking awful. You're welcome.
Right.
Unlike the last time when you cast a spell, I'm going to give all four of you, well, the other three of you, I need you to roll percentiles. And tell me what your percentile is.
22.
Gotta dig it.
I'm so fucking anxious right now, guys. This is like the third time this session that I have triggered something I did not know was triggering like a thing. I am so sorry.
This one was a bit of a group effort.
What's sad
Usually is.
is that that is one of Augustine's lowest checks. It's a +4.
I thought that's still a low check. 33.
87.
All right, so Reva, you get to join in on this. Everyone else rolled too low.
Fair.
Augustine and Reva. Augustine, you're used to someone traveling along with you. You're a little surprised that since the other ones were there, that they're not here. But something reached out and grabbed Reva and pulled her along. Now, unlike the previous instances where you used this ritual in order to contact an otherworldly being, there's no voice. Instead, you're getting flashes of imagery. You hear a familiar laugh. You can't quite place it. But then the moment you hear that, it stops. You don't hear the laughter. All you see is flashing imagery of the cycle: death, resurrection, death, resurrection, death, resurrection, death, resurrection, all throughout the ages. All of the things that have happened, heroes that have sacrificed themselves and were brought back, no consequence. Was there really a sacrifice? And you feel this in your very being, that this is like, is there really truly any sacrifice? It's as if you found yourself in a dreamlike state. And each time you see this happen over and over again, you have in your mind the memory of, they promised me, they promised me, they promised me. They promised me they were going to solve this problem and I was going to get to live. Why am I still dead? And as you have that thought, you feel rage coursing through your veins. You look down and see your hands. They're not your hands, but they are your hands. It's like they're superimposed, and along you, you feel and you see these veins of red coming out of you and infecting the ground around you. As your rage builds, and you see the endless cycle of death, and not rebirth, but death and resurrection, death and resurrection. Your power being perverted on a cosmic scale. Reva, you feel this exact same thing. You're both kind of in the same spot in this dreamlike state. And you're not sure what the hell is happening, but you know that this isn't how the natural order is supposed to be. You were promised a solution. You were promised that you would be able to come back and fulfill your role. Resurrection was supposed to be a tool that could be used, not abused. And all you feel is just rage. Now, for those of you outside the dream, about 3 seconds goes by. And a flash of light and ash floating down. Augustine and Reva, you wake up to find yourselves in the fields. And the last thing you remember is mortals don't wander dream. Dream wanders mortals. And with that, I need to roll something fun. for both of you.
So the wisteria smells great today.
Well, sitting there like, God, these fucking pigeons, where the fuck did they go?
Yeah. Actually, I do. Augustine, this is your second time, correct? Having died. You actually don't end up top. There's none of that. You just wake up in the fields. But you know intrinsically that somehow you died. Riva, you died, and you've popped up in the fields right next to Augustine. I don't think you've died yet, have you? Okay. So you have, that's your one freebie. Oh my God, I'm just going to look it up in here. I have the file up. Nope, that is though. All right. Death among. All right. I need you, Augustine, to roll me 1 die 10 and then roll 1 die 10 again. I need the result of each.
First one's a 10.
Okay.
Second one's a 6.
Second one's the same.
No, a 6.
6. Oh, thank God. That was. Oh. Okay. First of all, you have dark vision, right? Or do you have the Glau's Jade Lands version of it, right?
Shade
Okay.
sight.
What is the distance on that?
I've got it here somewhere. Shoot. Must be on my other Augustine sheet. I haven't transferred everything over to my fresh sheet yet. I think it's 60. I think it's basically the same as dark vision. It's grayscale, and I believe it's 60 feet.
Okay. You gain dark vision up to 120 feet. Now, I'm going to ask you a very important question. And I'm sorry. What is one of your moments, one of your memories of true happiness? I need one of them.
I don't want to give you that. Oh God. I have many of those. Reuniting with her brother.
You have lost all memory of that moment. And anything that would remind you of that moment is gone. As you feel, your soul has unraveled just a little bit. You're lucky it wasn't 10. I was hoping to God that you didn't say the same, because that was fucking rough. This one's not great either, but at least you have multiple moments of happiness. So good on you for that. But yes, you have officially lost all memory of that moment where you reunited with your brother.
Does it feel like something's missing? Like, is she even aware she's missing something?
No.
Oh, fuck. Augustine, like, still laying on the ground, kind of like looks over towards Reba. Are you dead, alive? Coherent, I guess?
I think we're all dead, technically. Are you okay?
I'm fine, I think. Are you okay?
I think so. Did you see what I saw?
I think so. Did you feel all that rage?
She's angry.
Can you blame her?
No.
I mean, from the sounds of it, she's not supposed to be dead. Oh, God, I have a really bad feeling.
Aren't we about to go, like, put the nail in the coffin, though? We're about to stop all resurrection. That's her domain. Are we killing a woman who is betrayed, angry?
It's part of why I wanted to reach out to her. I just... Oh, fuck. I think we need to get back to the others. There's some things I need to tell you all. This, we might be a bit more involved in all of this than we even realized.
All right.
So, unless there's something you plan on doing out in the fields, I'm going to fast track it a little bit. You have your little conversations or whatever discussions you have along the way. It takes about an hour to get back. Frankie and Rosina, you don't know what the fuck. They just vamped in front of you. Very Nightcrawler. And so what are you two doing for an hour while it takes them to get back, presumably to go looking directly for you all?
Weirdly, we've been talking about this.
I mean, I
Okay.
did try to read my book again.
All
After
right, cool. Yeah,
consuming a
go
pocket
ahead.
brownie.
Go ahead and read that now that you've partaken of a pocket brownie. And oh my god, that's about to play into it.
Ooh, can she have advantage if I'm like reading over her shoulder and trying to help?
No, because you reading over her shoulder would also grant you the potential to have the insight that she has, which is possible. You can read over her shoulder at the same time.
All right.
Does
I'll go.
the pocket brownie change the check in any way?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It lowers the
Does it
DC.
make it better or worse?
It lowers the DC.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
sick.
that's why
That's
it's
a good
good that you
roll,
have a
too.
stoner in your group, because like I know that kind of stuff opens your mind.
That's a 24.
My God. All
I don't
right,
know if this
so
is better or worse, but I'm reading over her shoulder and I got a 23.
all right, so
Whoa.
strangely enough, there's only supposed to be one person that benefits from this book at the exact same time. But however, you both managed to look at this at the exact same moment and finally come to an understanding of what it is. I don't know why I made this item, but you're welcome. You gain access to 2 spells from any spell list that you want, up to either the level you can cast up to 7th level. If you cannot cast spells traditionally, you get 1 spell slot to cast one or the other, and it will be cast at the level of the highest spell.
All right.
The level of the highest spell.
Yes, so you can pick a 7th level spell and a lower level spell, and no matter what, they'll be cast at that 7th level. But yes, if you do have spell slots, it's based off of your highest level spell, and you can use any of your spell slots to cast those spells normally. Otherwise, you get 1 spell slot for freezies for funsies. It's as you gain that insight that you both look up and the explosion or light happens and they poof and turn into ash. Frankie, you're like, that's not good, obviously, with what you said earlier. Rosina, your mind has just exploded.
Whoa, did they ascend?
They certainly went somewhere. Given
Yeah.
the nature of this place, I suspect sideways.
Yeah, I guess they could go sideways. Hey, I'm hungry.
Did you see that there's a stall that sells fried shit in the market?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I heard they had cheese today.
Ooh. Ooh, I could murder some fried cheese. You want to go get fried cheese?
Let's go get fried cheese.
We're going for fried cheese.
All right, fried cheese in the marketplace.
While we're walking and while she's still stoned out of her mind, I'm going to ask her if she can read this patron's book that I picked up. Because it's too faded for me. She might be better at it than I am.
I forget, what was that? That was the one that gave you the insight into a little bit of Nixia's past, correct?
No, that was a book, a basic bitch book about gods that the nerds had.
Oh,
This
yeah.
one's specifically about patrons because I was being nosy about Majin, but it's something I can't
Make out.
legibly read.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely hand that to Rosina and see if her heightened state of awareness can learn more about patrons in general.
All right.
For that, you will be rolling. You can either use religion, arcana, or investigation.
I'm not real good at any of those things, but here we
That's
go.
fine. You're high as shit. It'll be easy.
That's not horrible. It's 17.
Okay. So, you learn a little bit of information here and there about patrons. Typically, they're mortals at one point that took power, or sought power. There's reference to an entity that was able to grant the power of patronhood to other creatures, entities, etc., in exchange for a price. And you start reading, and you see furthermore that it all tied back to the Well of Souls.
Well, it seems like that Well of Souls thing is really important.
Right.
I'm-
So,
I mean, Frankie actually doesn't know anything about the Well of Souls, do they?
nope. Frankie has
So
no
cool,
idea.
brand new information for me.
What do you mean, Well of Souls?
You should ask Majin about that.
Okay, they seem cool.
They do seem pretty cool.
They do seem cool.
Like, Frankie's encountered them in passing. This is just some dude, as far as they're concerned. Some cool looking dude.
Dude likes masks and sashes and stuff. I can
Yeah.
dig it.
I mean, what's another fancy patron flinging around the city?
All right, so you all end up, you found out that little tidbit of information, and you make your way back to get some fried cheese. Whether you choose to patronize Biscuit's establishment or another one
No.
with fried cheese is completely up to you.
We're fools, not idiots. We're not going to Biscuit.
First of all, how dare you?
Tell
Second
me
of
I'm
all,
wrong.
he's the bestest boy.
That doesn't mean he's a good cook.
I think
So
the
that
last time Rosina saw Biscuit, she had to pull eggshells out of whatever he was cooking.
I mean, yeah, but it
And
still tasted the
this is
best
a
you've
you
ever
can't
eaten.
take it with you. This is a you can't take it with you situation. The box that used to make the good shit's not with him, I assume.
You don't know.
You're correct, I don't, and I'm not willing to risk it.
Fair
Fried
enough.
cheese.
All right, fried cheese. You both find some fried cheese on a stick. Consequently, not only do they have fried cheese on a stick, they also have chocolate dipped cheesecake on a stick. So,
Wow.
so you all
Hey.
spend roughly however long that takes. Eventually, Augustine and Riva, you all make it back into the city, and you're not really sure where to go. You check Benny's first. No one's there, and you eventually head through the market thinking maybe they just stayed in the same place. I don't know. And that's when you come across them just gorging themselves on the finest of fried foods. And that is where we'll pick up next time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I do apologize in advance. I do not believe we are going to have a game this Saturday or the following Saturday, but we should have our Red to Black, not this Friday, but the Friday after next Friday. It'll be back on schedule, is what I'm saying. So we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.